The text message glared at me from my phone screen. "Miss Hall, please come to my office immediately." My stomach dropped. In 5 years at Morgan and Pierce, I'd never been summoned like this by Fernando. I'm Isla, and until today, I was a senior account manager who prided herself on perfect performance reviews. The corridor to Fernando's office felt longer than usual, each step echoing my racing heartbeat. His face was stone cold when I entered. "Sit down, Isla." "Is everything okay?" I asked, though clearly it wasn't. "We received a disturbing call this morning." Fernando's fingers drummed on his desk. "A woman claiming to be your sister informed us about your alleged substance abuse problem and frequent theft of office supplies." My world stopped spinning. "What?" "She provided detailed accounts of witnessing you stealing company property and attending client meetings while intoxicated." He slid a paper across his desk. "Given the severity of these allegations, we have no choice but to terminate your employment, effective immediately." "Fernando, this is insane. I've never—" My voice cracked. "My sister, Victoria?" He nodded grimly. "She seemed very concerned about your welfare." My hands trembled as I pulled out my phone, calling Victoria. She answered on the third ring, her voice syrupy sweet. "Hey, sis, what's up?" "Why did you call my office?" I demanded, my voice echoing in Fernando's silent office. "Oh, that," she giggled. "That's just a little prank. Come on, you're always so serious about everything. Lighten up." "A prank? I just got fired." "Wait, what? No way. I thought they'd just give you a warning or something. Don't be dramatic." Fernando watched me with a mixture of pity and discomfort as I ended the call. "I can prove she's lying," I pleaded. "Check the security cameras, talk to my colleagues." "Asla," he cut me off. "Regardless of the truth, this has created a liability issue. The board has made their decision. Security will escort you to clear your desk." Walking past my colleagues' concerned faces, box in hand, I felt numb. 5 years of dedication ended because of my sister's idea of a joke. My phone buzzed with a text from Victoria. "Sorry if you're mad, but maybe this is good timing for a career change. You were getting kind of boring anyway." Back home, I sat on my couch, staring at the family photo on my wall. Victoria beamed from the centre, as always, while I stood awkwardly at the edge. The golden child and the responsible one, roles we'd played since childhood. My phone rang. Mum. "Isla, honey, Victoria told me what happened," she said, not bothering with hello. "You really should learn to take a joke better. She didn't mean any harm." "Mum, I lost my job." "Well, maybe it's for the best. You were working too hard anyway. Victoria says there's an opening at her friend's boutique. Wouldn't that be nice? Working together?" I pressed my fingers against my temples. "I have a master's degree in business administration." "Don't be snobby, dear. Family helps family." After hanging up, I opened my laptop and started updating my resume. My hands stopped shaking as determination replaced shock. Victoria had always gotten away with everything, from breaking my toys as kids to borrowing my car and crashing it in college. Our parents always dismissed her actions with, "That's just how she is." My phone pinged again. "Victoria, Mum says you're being dramatic. It's not like you can't find another job. Unless you're not as smart as you think you are." I stared at her message, something shifting inside me. All these years, I'd swallowed my anger, played the bigger person, kept the peace. For what? To be sabotaged by my own sister. Opening my email, I began crafting applications to every major competitor of Morgan and Pierce. My sister wanted me to change careers. Fine, I'd change, but on my terms. "Watch me," I whispered to the empty room, hitting send on the first application. Victoria had no idea what she'd just set in motion. For the first time in my life, I wasn't going to let this go. I wasn't going to accept her half-hearted apology and move on. My phone buzzed again. A group chat notification. Victoria was already spinning her version of events to our brother, Quinn, and our parents. I muted the chat and instead opened LinkedIn, connecting with every industry contact I had. They thought I was the boring, predictable one? Perfect. They'd never see it coming when I finally showed them exactly what their dramatic sister was capable of. Sometimes the best revenge isn't loud and messy. It's calculated, patient, and served cold. I smiled as another job application completed sending. Victoria had just taught me a valuable lesson. Family doesn't always mean loyalty, and I was about to teach her one in return. Tell me why you're interested in joining Stewart and Associates. Larry Ford leaned back in his chair, studying me across his mahogany desk. 2 weeks after Victoria's prank, I sat in an office twice the size of Fernando's, interviewing for a position that made my old job look entry-level. My former colleague Sarah had recommended me the moment she heard what happened. Honestly, I met his gaze. Because I want to prove something. Larry's eyebrow raised. Oh, I was fired from Morgan & Pierce due to false allegations. Instead of fighting it, I want to show them exactly what they lost. I pulled out my portfolio. These are the accounts I managed, their growth rates, and client satisfaction scores. He flipped through the pages, nodding slowly. Impressive, but why not pursue legal action? Because success is better than litigation. I smiled. Plus, I've heard Stewart and Associates is planning to target Morgan & Pierce's biggest client, Riverside Corp. I know their account inside out. Larry's eyes sparkled with interest. You've done your homework. Always do. He closed my portfolio. The position pays double what Morgan & Pierce offered, plus performance bonuses. When can you start? Walking out of Stewart and Associates, I felt lighter than I had in weeks. My phone buzzed, the family group chat exploding as usual. Mum, Quinn needs help with his car payments again. Everyone pitch in. Victoria, I'm broke, and sorry, bro. Dad, your mother and I already helped last month. Quinn, come on guys, I'll pay everyone back. I was about to mute the chat again when a private message from Victoria popped up. Hey sis, heard you had a big interview today. Mum's worried you're aiming too high. Don't want you getting disappointed again. My thumbs hovered over the keyboard. Then I typed, actually, I got the job. Double my old salary. 3 dots appeared immediately. OMG. No way! That's amazing! Hey, random question. Could you help me with rent this month? Just until my commission comes through. Before I could respond, the group chat exploded again. Mum, Isla got a new job. Much better pay. Quinn, seriously? Sis, you're holding out on us. Dad, that's wonderful, sweetheart. Speaking of which, your mother and I are planning to renovate the kitchen. My phone rang. Quinn, hey, superstar, he said smoothly. So, about that car payment. Quinn, I haven't even started the job yet. Come on, you know I'm good for it. Remember when I covered for you that time you stayed out past curfew? We were teenagers, and you made me do your homework for a month in exchange. Details. Family helps family, right? I walked into my apartment, dropping my keys on the counter. Funny, where was that family spirit when Victoria got me fired? Ancient history. She feels terrible about that. Besides, it worked out better for you, didn't it? So, really, you should be thanking her. I nearly choked. Thanking her? Yeah. See, everything happens for a reason. So, about that loan. I'll think about it, I said, ending the call. My laptop sat open on my coffee table, still displaying the email confirmation from Stewart and Associates. Next to it lay a notebook where I'd started drafting those letters. One for each family member. Letters I'd been too scared to send. My phone buzzed again. Victoria had sent a screenshot of my new company to the group chat. Victoria, found Isla's new workplace. So fancy. Guess all those hours being a workaholic paid off. Mum, don't be mean, dear. Isla's just lucky. Quinn, lucky enough to help her favourite brother. Dad, we should celebrate. Isla can treat us to dinner at that new steakhouse downtown. I picked up my pen and pulled the notebook closer. The first letter was addressed to Victoria. Dear sister, it began. Let me tell you about luck. My hand moved faster now, the words flowing easily. They thought my success meant their meal ticket had arrived. They were about to learn otherwise. Every demand for money, every dismissive comment, every backhanded compliment, it was all going into these letters. My phone kept buzzing with notifications, but I ignored them. Let them plan their celebrations and count money they wouldn't see. Let them think I was still their pushover sister, daughter, meal ticket. The truth would arrive in their mailboxes soon enough. I looked at the family photo still hanging on my wall. Tomorrow it would come down. Sometimes the hardest part of standing up for yourself is standing up to family. But as I wrote those letters, I realised something. Blood might be thicker than water, but ink would be thicker than both. Just a small loan, sweetheart, Mum said, stirring her coffee at our weekly breakfast meet-up. Your father and I have always supported you. I nearly choked on my avocado toast. Supported me? Like when Victoria crashed my car and you made me share hers instead of making her replace it. Ancient history, Mum waved her hand dismissively. Besides, you were always so rigid about your things. Sharing is caring. Mum, I was working 2 jobs to pay for that car. And look how that taught you responsibility. Now you're successful. She beamed. Speaking of success, the kitchen renovation would only be about $20,000. My coffee turned bitter in my mouth. That's a lot of money. Well, Victoria can't help. She's an artist. You know how unstable that income is. And Quinn has his car payments. I set my cup down harder than necessary. What about my student loans? Oh, honey, Mum patted my hand. You chose to go to that expensive university. Nobody forced you. The memory hit me like a slap. 17-year-old me clutching my acceptance letter, while Mum consoled a crying Victoria who hadn't gotten in. Maybe you should go to community college first, Mum had suggested. Keep Victoria company. My phone buzzed. Quinn. Hey, sis, about that car payment. Getting some nasty calls from the bank. I turned my phone face down. Mum, I need to get to work. Already? But we haven't discussed the kitchen. Your father's getting estimates this afternoon. At the office, Larry stopped by my desk. Isla, the Riverside court meeting went better than expected. They're considering moving their entire portfolio to us. That's fantastic. It's all thanks to your insight. There's a substantial bonus coming your way. My computer dinged with an email from Victoria. Hey sis, heard about your bonus from Mum? She ran into Larry's wife at yoga. Quick favour, my art supplies store is having a massive sale. Could really use some sister support. I opened my drawer, pulling out the letters I'd brought to work. Each one contained years of carefully documented incidents, dates, amounts borrowed and never repaid. Victoria's was the thickest. My phone rang. Dad. Princess, great news. Contractor can start the kitchen next week. Just need you to transfer the deposit. Dad, I haven't agreed to... Your mother said you were on board. We've already picked out the fixtures. Premium stuff. Only the best for our dream kitchen. Dad, got to run. Contractor needs the deposit by Friday. Love you, Princess. I hung up and stared at the letters. Another message popped up from Quinn. Banks threatening repossession. Need $3,000 by tomorrow. You're my only hope. Memories flooded back. Quinn borrowing my college fund for his failed startup. Victoria accidentally spilling wine on my interview suit. then offering her old cocktail dress as a replacement. Mum and Dad remortgaging the house to fund Victoria's art gallery, which closed 3 months later. Larry appeared again. Isla, you okay? Just family stuff. He nodded knowingly. Sometimes the hardest business decisions involve family. Remember what I always say? Professional boundaries protect personal relationships, I quoted. Exactly, he smiled. By the way, the bonus hits your account tomorrow. After he left, I opened my email and created a new folder labelled Family Financial Requests. I forwarded every demanding message, every guilt trip, every manipulation tactic. Each one went into the folder, dated and categorised. My phone buzzed again. The family group chat was discussing dinner plans, at an expensive restaurant, naturally. On my tab, obviously. Victoria, Isla's buying. Time to celebrate her bonus. Mum, perfect. I'll make reservations for 8. Bringing your father's golf friends too. Quinn, count me in. Sis, can you spot me some cash for a new shirt? Can't show up looking broke. I picked up the letters again, adding a final paragraph to each one. Then I pulled out fresh envelopes, addressing them carefully. Victoria's art supply store receipt from last month. For designer handbags, not art supplies. Quinn's bank statements showing gambling transactions. Mum's yoga membership cost more than my monthly student loan payment. Everything would be exposed. Every lie, every manipulation, every double standard. My hand shook slightly as I sealed the last envelope. Part of me wanted to shred them all, keep the peace, play my assigned role. But as I looked at my phone, still buzzing with entitled demands, I knew peace had always been an illusion. I stood up, letters in hand, ready to walk to the mailroom. They wanted my money. They'd get my truth instead. Sometimes the most expensive thing in life is letting people take you for granted. I was done paying that price. The postal worker raised an eyebrow at my stack of certified letters. Need signatures for delivery? Yes, I said firmly. I need to know exactly when they receive these. Back at my desk, I stared at the tracking numbers, my heart racing. 4 letters, 4 bombs of truth, ticking their way through the postal system. My phone lit up, Victoria calling. Hey, sis! Her voice dripped honey. About dinner tonight. I can't make it. I kept my voice neutral. Deadline at work. But Mum already made reservations. Everyone's coming. Quinn's bringing his new girlfriend. Dad's golf buddies. All these people were invited to celebrate my bonus, I said, but nobody asked me first. Don't be difficult, Victoria sighed. Family celebrates together. Oh, and could you transfer me some cash before dinner? My card's being weird. I checked the tracking numbers again. Her letter would arrive tomorrow. Sorry, Vic, I've got a meeting. I hung up before she could protest. Larry stopped by my desk. Everything all right? You seem distracted. Just handling some long overdue correspondence. He nodded thoughtfully. The Riverside Core transfer is almost complete. Fernando from Morgan and Pierce called this morning, quite upset about losing their biggest client. I smiled despite myself. Did he mention anything else? Just that letting you go was their biggest mistake this year. Larry grinned. I didn't tell him it was their biggest mistake this decade. My computer pinged with an email from Quinn. Sis, emergency. Banks threatening legal action. Need help now. Also, can't make dinner unless you spot me some cash for a new shirt. Don't tell Mum. I opened my drafts folder and began typing. Dear Quinn, can't make dinner. Dealing with my own financial obligations. Student loans, rent, basic adult responsibilities. You should try it sometime. Isla. My phone buzzed, Mum. Isla Marie. What's this about not coming to dinner? I already told everyone about your bonus. Mum, you can't just... Victoria's devastated. She bought a new dress, specially. With what money? She just told me her card wasn't working. That's different. She's creative with money. You're the responsible one. I checked the tracking numbers again. Mum's letter was already out for delivery. I have to go, Mum. Big meeting. Don't you dare hang up on... I ended the call and switched my phone to silent. The first letter would be delivered any minute now. Opening my desk drawer, I pulled out copies of everything I'd sent. Bank statements showing Quinn's gambling debts, screenshots of Victoria's luxury purchases while claiming poverty, parents' credit card statements revealing their reckless spending. My computer dinged again. Dad this time. Princess, your mother's upset. Call her immediately. P.S. Contractor needs that deposit today. I drafted another email. Dear Dad, no deposit, no dinner, no more enabling. Check your mailbox. Isla. Larry appeared again. Isla, got a minute? Board wants to discuss your promotion. Promotion? The Riverside account's just the beginning. We're thinking junior partner. My phone screen lit up with texts. Mum, Isla Marie, answer your phone. Quinn, banks sending collectors. Victoria, can't believe you're bailing on dinner? So selfish. Dad, called contractor, he's waiting. I silenced them all and followed Larry to the conference room. Behind me, my computer showed the tracking update I'd been waiting for. Delivered, signed by Hazel Hall. The first letter had arrived. I sat through the board meeting in a strange calm, discussing strategy and growth projections while imagining Mom opening that envelope. By now, she'd be reading about every time she'd dismissed my achievements, every double standard, every manipulation. My phone kept lighting up, but I didn't check it. Let them read. Let them realize. Let them face their own reflections in the mirror I'd crafted from years of receipts, screenshots, and carefully documented lies. Back at my desk, I had 37 missed calls and counting. The second letter would arrive within hours. Dad's turn to face the truth. Larry stopped by one last time. Everything okay? Your phone's been buzzing non-stop. Just family learning some hard lessons about accountability. He nodded sagely. Sometimes the kindest thing we can do is stop protecting people from the consequences of their own actions. I glanced at my silent phone, imagining the chaos unfolding at my parents' house. Tomorrow, Victoria and Quinn would get their letters. The full set would be complete. The truth was in the mail, and there was no returning to sender. The first voicemail came at 6:43 a.m. Mum's voice trembled with rage. How dare you? How dare you keep records like some accountant? We're your family. I deleted it and sipped my coffee, watching the sunrise from my apartment window. The second letter would reach Dad any minute now. My phone buzzed again. Quinn this time. Mom's having a meltdown. What did you do? Before I could respond, Victoria's message popped up. OMG, you're actually insane. Mum's crying. Dad's not speaking. Is this because I didn't get you a birthday present last year? So petty. The tracking app updated. Delivered, signed by Axel Hall. My office phone rang. Larry's name flashed on the display. Isla? Your mother's in the lobby. My stomach dropped. What? Should I have security escort her out? No, I'll handle it. I grabbed my laptop and headed downstairs. Mom stood in the middle of the lobby, clutching my letter, her yoga outfit clashing with the corporate atmosphere. You ungrateful child. Mum, this is my workplace. Oh, now you're embarrassed? After sending this manifesto of lies? I guided her toward a quiet corner. Everything in that letter is true. I have proof. Proof? She waved the papers. You kept receipts from 10 years ago. Who does that? Someone who knew this day would come. Your father can't even look at me. 23 years of marriage, and he never knew about the secret credit cards. Or the second mortgage you took out for Victoria's gallery. Her face reddened. She needed that opportunity. And I needed my college fund that Quinn gambled away. Funny how my needs never seemed urgent enough. We raised you better than this, she hissed. Family doesn't keep score. No, family doesn't play favourites. Family doesn't gaslight. Family doesn't... My phone buzzed. Dad's message appeared. Your mother's hysterical. Fix this, now. Another notification. Victoria's letter had been delivered. Mum's phone chimed. She checked it and went pale. Victoria's threatening to move to Europe. See what you've done? Let me guess. She needs money for the plane ticket. She's sensitive, creative. You've always been jealous of her spirit. Security was watching us now. I lowered my voice. Mum, go home. Read the letter again. Really read it. I will not. Mrs. Hall, Larry appeared beside us. I'm afraid I'll have to ask you to leave. We're about to start a board meeting. Mum straightened her yoga pants. Of course. My daughter's very important now. Too important for family. As security escorted her out, my phone exploded with notifications. Victoria had posted on social media. Some people can't handle others' success. Booking a one-way ticket to Paris. Need support from real family. Quinn replied immediately, This is messed up, sis. But since you're burning bridges, can I get that loan before you go nuclear? Bank's seriously on my case. Dad sent a simple text. Your mother's blood pressure is your responsibility now. I walked back to my office, hands shaking slightly. Larry followed. Family drama? Something like that. Take the afternoon off if you need it, but first... He smiled. The board approved your promotion. Junior partner, effective immediately. My phone buzzed again. Victoria. OMG, just got your psycho letter. Recording everything for my lawyer. Hope you're happy now that you've destroyed this family. P.S. Still need help with art supplies if you're done being crazy. I declined the call and turned to Larry. Actually, I think I'll stay. We have that strategy meeting at 2, right? He nodded approvingly. That's why you're partner material. You know how to prioritize. Back at my desk, I opened my email to find 67 new messages from family members. Subject lines ranged from, how could you, to, before you cut me off completely. The final tracking update appeared. Quinn's letter had arrived. Within minutes, the family group chat exploded. Victoria. She exposed everything. My shopping, Quinn's gambling, Mum's secret cards. Quinn. Those bank statements were private. This is illegal. Mum. We need to meet. All of us. Tonight. Dad. Agreed. Isla, you will be there. I typed a single response. No. Then I muted the chat, turned off my phone, and opened the file for the strategy meeting. Let them rage. Let them threaten. Let them finally face the mirrors I'd spent years polishing. The truth was out, and I had a meeting to prepare for. They taught me well, after all. Family always comes first. They just never expected me to put myself first for once. My computer dinged with one final email from Victoria. Fine, I'm really booking that ticket to Paris now. Hope you're happy. I smiled and clicked delete. Some threats solved themselves. The pounding on my apartment door started at 8 p.m. sharp. Isla Marie, open this door right now, Mum's voice carried through the hallway. I took a deep breath and turned the lock. They all burst in. Mum, Dad, Victoria, with mascara-stained cheeks, and Quinn, looking unusually sober. Family intervention, Victoria announced dramatically, waving a printed copy of her letter. We're here to discuss your mental breakdown. Sit down, Dad commanded, his golf tan stark against his white-knuckled grip on his own letter. I remained standing. No. Listen here, young lady, Mum started. No, you listen. I pulled out my phone. Should I play the voicemails from the loan companies looking for Quinn? Or maybe Victoria's credit card companies? Quinn shifted uncomfortably. Those records were private. Like my college fund was private, before you borrowed it. That was different, Mum interjected. He had a business opportunity. It was gambling debts, I said flatly, just like the money he's asking for now. Quinn's face reddened. You don't know? I have the bank statements, Quinn. Every casino withdrawal. Victoria jumped up. Well, what about my reputation? My followers are worried sick. I had to tell them I'm taking a mental health break in Paris. With what money? I asked. The art supply store called. Your credit card bounced again. See? Mum gestured wildly. She needs our help. Family helps family. No, Mum. Family doesn't exploit family. Family doesn't... Oh, spare us the lecture, Victoria interrupted. Just because you got lucky with some corporate job. Lucky? I laughed. I worked 60-hour weeks while you were finding yourself on my credit card. I paid you back. With bounced checks. Dad cleared his throat. Princess, about the kitchen renovation? The kitchen is fine, Dad. Your golf membership, however, that's different. I need to network. Network? I pulled out more papers. Is that what you call losing 10,000 in club gambling last month? The room went silent. Mum turned to Dad, mouth open. You said that money went to Quinn's car. Well, Dad tugged at his collar. Quinn jumped up. Wait, I got blamed for that. Sit down, Mum shouted. This is all Isla's fault. Keeping records like some spy? No, a quiet voice said. Everyone turned. It was Quinn. She's right, Victoria gasped. Traitor! No, look! Quinn ran his hands through his hair. I do have a gambling problem. The bank's not just threatening, they're pressing charges. Mum rushed to him. Baby, why didn't you say? Because you always fix everything. He stepped away from her. But Isla's right. It has to stop. Victoria jumped up. This is ridiculous. Quinn, don't let her manipulate you. Says the sister who got me fired for a prank? I countered. That was months ago. Get over it. Like you got over not getting into my university. Is that why you sabotage everything I achieve? I don't. Victoria stopped, tears forming. I'm not. I just what? Just destroyed my career? Just maxed out my credit cards? I'm jealous, okay? She burst out. You make everything look so easy. School, work, life, while I'm just failing. The room fell silent again. Mum sank onto my couch, letter crumpling in her hands. We really are horrible, aren't we? She whispered. Dad stood up straighter. Now, let's not get carried away. No, look at these letters. Mum spread them out. Every manipulation, every guilt trip, every double standard. We did this, all of it. Victoria wiped her eyes, smearing mascara further. I mean, the prank wasn't supposed to... To what? I asked quietly. To hurt me, to derail my life, to make yourself feel better. Quinn picked up his letter. We need help, real help, not money, actual professional help. Therapy? Victoria scoffed, then paused. Actually, maybe. Mum looked up at me. You kept these records all these years. You knew this day would come. I hoped it wouldn't. Dad cleared his throat again. The contractor, I should probably cancel. Probably, I agreed. They left one by one. Quinn first, clutching a business card for a gambling addiction counsellor. Victoria next, makeup completely ruined, mumbling about cancelling her Paris posts. Dad slipped out quietly, already on the phone with his golf club. Mom lingered at the door. We really messed up, didn't we? Yes. Can we fix this? I looked at her steadily. That depends. Are you ready to actually change? She nodded slowly, then left without another word. I closed the door behind them, listening to their footsteps fade. Sometimes the hardest conversations are the most necessary ones, and sometimes the truth, however painful, is the only path to healing. 3 weeks after the confrontation, Mum called an emergency family meeting at their house. I almost didn't go, but Quinn's text convinced me. Things are different, promise. Walking into my childhood home, I immediately noticed changes. The designer furniture Mum had bought on credit was gone, replaced by their old comfortable pieces. Dad's golf trophies had vanished from the mantel. Victoria sat in the corner, unusually subdued, scrolling through her phone. Look, she said as I entered, holding up the screen. She'd posted, "Time to get real with my followers. No more fake Paris plans. Starting therapy and facing my truth. Authentic life sucked through harsh growth." Quinn arrived next, carrying a folder of papers. "First NA meeting was yesterday," he said quietly. "Should have done this years ago." Mum and Dad emerged from the kitchen, carrying coffee cups instead of their usual wine glasses. "Sit, everyone," Mum said, her yoga designer outfit replaced by simple jeans and a sweater. "We need to talk about changes." Dad cleared his throat. "I've sold my golf club membership, paid off some of our credit cards. And I've cancelled my spa memberships," Mum added. We're seeing a financial advisor." Victoria looked up from her phone. "I got a real job, like with actual hours and everything." "Doing what?" I asked, trying to keep the skepticism from my voice. "Administrative assistant at an art gallery." She managed a small smile. "Not running it, just learning the business properly this time." Quinn opened his folder. "I've worked out payment plans with the banks. It'll take years, but..." He looked at me. "I'm not asking for loans anymore, promise." "We're all in therapy," Mum said. "Separately, and we're starting family sessions next week." She paused. "If you'd consider joining us?" I sat back, studying their faces. The usual manipulation was missing from their eyes. Instead, I saw something new. Accountability. "I'll think about it." Dad stood up. "There's something else." He walked to the hall closet and returned with a box. We found these while clearing out the credit card purchases. Inside were my old report cards, academic awards, newspaper clippings of my business competition wins, things I thought they'd never kept. "We did notice," Mum said softly. We let Victoria's drama and Quinn's crises overshadow everything. It was easier than admitting we were failing as parents." Victoria moved to speak, but the doorbell interrupted. "Oh," Mum looked flustered. "That must be..." Larry Ford walked in carrying a folder. "What's he doing here?" I stood up. "Sit down, Isla," Larry said kindly. "Your family called me last week. They wanted to understand exactly what they almost cost you." He opened the folder. "Should I tell them about the partnership track you're on? The clients you've brought in? The fact that 3 other firms have tried to headhunt you?" Victoria's phone dropped to her lap. "Other companies want you?" "Your sister," Larry continued, "is one of the most talented executives I've ever worked with. The prank that got her fired from Morgan & Pierce? It cost them their biggest account and their market position." Dad's face fell. "We had no idea." "No, you didn't." Larry turned to me. "I hope you don't mind me coming. They seemed genuine in wanting to understand." Mum wiped her eyes. "We were so focused on fixing everyone else's problems, we never saw how we were hurting you." "I have something to say." Victoria stood up. I sabotaged you because I couldn't stand being the family failure anymore. But watching you succeed anyway, despite what I did, it made me realize I was the one holding myself back. Quinn nodded. We all were. Using you as our safety net meant we never had to grow up. Larry smiled. Well, my work here is done. Isla, take tomorrow off. I think your family has more to discuss. He headed for the door, then turned back. Oh, and the board meeting about your senior partnership is next week. After he left, silence fell. Mum broke it first. We can't undo what we did, she said. But we can do better going forward. Real change, not just promises. Starting with paying our own bills, Dad added. And facing our own problems, Quinn said. Victoria stood up. And celebrating your success instead of trying to sabotage it. I looked around at their faces, genuinely remorseful, finally aware of their actions. The manipulation and entitlement had been replaced by something that looked surprisingly like growth. Okay, I said finally. I'll come to family therapy, but on one condition. Anything, Mum said quickly. We do it right this time. Complete honesty. No more secrets, no more enabling, no more guilt trips. They nodded, and for the first time in years, I felt something shift. Not forgiveness, exactly. That would take time. But possibility. The possibility of a healthier family dynamic built on truth instead of manipulation. Sometimes the hardest lessons come from seeing your own reflection in someone else's mirror. And sometimes, just sometimes, that reflection can spark real change. And that concludes our quarterly family financial review, the therapist said, closing her notebook. Quinn, excellent progress on the gambling recovery. Victoria, your savings account is growing. Mr. and Mrs. Hall, your credit card debt is nearly cleared. I sat back in my chair, watching my family's proud faces. These monthly meetings had become our new normal, a chance to hold each other accountable and celebrate real progress. Isla's turn, Mum said, but without the old demanding tone. How's the senior partnership going? Actually, I pulled out some papers. I wanted to discuss something with everyone. Victoria tensed. You're not moving away, are you? No, I smiled. I'm starting my own consulting firm. Larry's backing me as a silent partner. Instead of immediate demands for jobs or money, my announcement was met with thoughtful silence. That's incredible, Quinn said finally. You always were the entrepreneurial one. Remember her lemonade stand? Dad chuckled. She made enough to buy her own bicycle while Victoria was giving free drinks to cute boys. Victoria laughed. Actually, laughed at the memory. And Quinn kept drinking the inventory. Speaking of inventory, I continued, I'll need help with market research. Victoria, your social media expertise could be useful. Paid consultancy, of course. Proper contract and everything. Her eyes widened. You trust me? After everything? You've earned it. Your gallery work shows you've changed. Mum started to speak, probably to suggest Dad's involvement, but caught herself. That's wonderful, dear. Let us know if you need anything. Emotional support, not money, she added quickly. The therapist smiled. This is excellent progress. Shall we discuss holiday plans? Last year's boundaries worked well. Actually, Quinn spoke up, I have an announcement too. He pulled out his 9-month sobriety chip. The bank agreed to drop charges since I've stuck to the payment plan. And I'm leading a support group for other gambling addicts. Dad reached for his wallet, an old habit, then stopped himself. Instead, he simply said, I'm proud of you, son. Victoria raised her hand like a schoolgirl. My turn. The gallery offered me a promotion. Assistant manager with a real salary. No more exposure payments or commission-only tricks. That's wonderful, Mum beamed, then turned to me. Isla, remember when you said we needed to face our true reflections? You were right. These meetings, the therapy, the accountability, it saved our family. Speaking of accountability, Dad added, the house is officially mortgage-free. No more secret loans or credit cards. The therapist made a final note. This seems like a natural conclusion to our family sessions. You've all developed healthy boundaries and communication skills. Would you like to schedule follow-ups quarterly instead of monthly? We looked at each other, a silent understanding passing between us. The old dynamics were gone. No more enabler and enabled, no more golden child and scapegoat, no more manipulation and guilt. I think we're ready, I said. Outside the therapist's office, Victoria grabbed my arm. Hey, about that social media consultancy, I actually have some ideas, real ones, not schemes. Could I pitch them to you? Over coffee, maybe? I'd like that. Quinn checked his watch. Got to run, leading a meeting tonight. Dad, need a ride to your book club? Dad nodded. The golf clubs had been replaced by a passion for reading, a much cheaper and healthier hobby. Mum hugged me, a real hug without the old passive-aggressive pat. Dinner this Sunday? I'm cooking. Nothing fancy, just family time. Sure, Mum, I'll bring dessert. As they left, I checked my phone. A message from Larry. Board approved your resignation. Ready to be your own boss? I looked up at my family getting into their separate cars, each going to their own lives, their own responsibilities, their own achievements. No more codependency, no more enabling, no more toxic patterns. Victoria turned back. Coffee tomorrow at 10? That new place on Main? Perfect. Bring those ideas. And Isla? She hesitated. Thank you. For not giving up on us, even when we deserved it. I watched them drive away, remembering the letters that had started this journey. They'd been bombs of truth, but from their explosion had grown something unexpected. A real family built on respect instead of obligation, support instead of enabling, truth instead of manipulation. My phone buzzed again. A family group chat message from Quinn. Proud of everyone today. We've come so far. Mum replied with a simple heart emoji. No guilt trip, no demands, just love. I smiled and typed, see you Sunday. Sometimes the hardest letters to write led to the best endings, and sometimes the truth, however painful, sets everyone free.